going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. We are coming to you today from Alabama Hills, California. There's Bri in the van. Today's video is going to be a little bit different than normal. We're going to give you an update on this guy and just kind of life in general in the next few months, the summer, what's ahead, all that good stuff. For those of you that don't know, my name's Kevin and this is my beautiful girlfriend, Bri. And
he's such a charmer.
We are landscape photographers. I'm a filmmaker and Bri is a blogger, but we've also been traveling the world for 6 years now. We've been to 25 countries together. But yeah, we just make videos about our hiking and our adventures. So diving in for the van, we've had so many problems in the last 5 weeks.
This van has been a nightmare for the last, honestly, since we got it. But like an exceptionally huge nightmare the last month. So we'll tell you about it.
So a lot of our videos are strictly towards objectives like hiking objectives, climbing objectives, things like that, traveling certain places. So to give you guys a little bit of background, we don't do many videos just talking about the van. So I bought this van in February of 2020, right before COVID, and I bought it for $1,200 off Facebook after Bri and I returned from South America doing van life down there. I've put $7 grand into this thing. After the $1,200, repair, conversion only costs like $800. Bri and I have been traveling in it, you know, more or less full-time-ish since June. We get hotels and we have a nice home base in Denver at Bri's house.
Yeah.
But yeah, the last month we've been on the road for a month straight and it has just gone absolutely to shit. So aside from all the regular problems we have, there are a lot more that we're gonna dive into, which probably first off, we should just go with the trunk. You wanna tell us about that?
So as you can see, you can no longer access this rear area of the car. And as you can imagine, it's a pain in the butt to get any of our stuff out. We have to crawl under the bed. So we'll show you what that's like.
Aside from the trunk door being broken, there is an internal problem, which is what led to this actually popping off. For the trunk, you had to kind of like massage it a little bit to get it actually open, and it took like 10 tries. One day it just snapped, so there's internal problems and external problems. To give you context of this, if you have a passenger van or a van, you know, you open one and you open the other, it opens up really nice. So here's a profile view of our van with Bri for scale. And this over is inaccessible. So this over, all of that storage is now gone. And now all we can access is this and forward. And when you live in a camper van or passenger van or whatever, you need storage.
Our lives are in here with us, and we have half a life in here. We can't get to half of it.
So we developed a system, and actually this was the first straw of the trip where I was like, okay, I guess we're gonna get this fixed, more money into this van. And then Bri was like, don't do it. I don't know what you said.
We can't. This van deserves no more money put into it. Like,
yeah.
It's tossing money out the window at this point, and
so she said that, and I was just like, okay, if Bri can deal with it, I can deal with it. So we developed a system where all of this stuff back there to the left of the hand is only accessible if we take everything else out and crawl back there, and you scrape up your knees, your elbows, your shoulders, because you're just climbing in this small area.
And there's sharp like wood corners just digging into like your forearms, or like the most painful parts of your body. It just feels awful, like what a nightmare. Like I said.
There's shelves back there that we cannot access, but most of it we can. But I'm gonna have Bri film me taking everything out and crawling back there so you guys can see what it's like. Just as a sense, like try to think when you go into your closet at home and you just nicely grab something out, it takes 2 seconds. This is our equivalent of that. So this is how we access our closet. First and foremost, our extremely heavy cooking bin. Bri's suitcase, which was in the far back and between the wood pillars that make the bed frame, I had to wrestle this thing to get it out of there. This is my cord bag. Below paddleboard, which we can't stuff in the back because of the wood pillars. Another thing that is typically right here, also that we have to move out, is 3 jugs of water and a tent and a sleeping bag. The reason they're not there right now is because we have camp set up a few miles over. Brother built an incredible bed frame. Nice, sturdy, sharp wood that you're crawling over to get back there. And these extra pillars for support, I'm so regretting, because now we can't pull out things easily or stuff them back. We have to like shimmy them through these small little pillars. So that is problem number 1 with the van. Problem number 2 is a byproduct of problem number 1. So, because we have so many things pulled out of the back, so we don't have to do this whole rendezvous every day, now the van is a mess.
All right, so normally we would clean house a little bit, but we decided to give you guys the real, true, raw reality of what happens to this van on the daily basis. Stuff just kind of gets thrown everywhere. I, for this life, am not a minimalist by any means. I have a lot of things, so my stuff kind of overtakes a lot. So does his a little, but we'll show you the whole setup right now.
So byproduct of the trunk, my clothing area is here behind my shelving unit. Our camera bags, f-stop and not sure what that is, live on the bed. Before, they went in what we called the hallway. I'll show you that in a second. And then Bri has these little packing cubes. Let me show you these freaking things. So this and this, these are packing cubes. So she has like different clothing articles in those, so she knows where everything is. This is stuffed, and right here behind the seats was what we called the hallway. And typically the hallway was nice and clean. Camera bags went there. There was a bunch of open space. And now it's overtaken by all of Bri's other bags. We call this Goldie, and we call this Silver Lulu. We have red Lulus too. This is Silver Lulu. And also, I didn't mention that white suitcase behind this that I pulled out typically lives in the trunk. When this is pushed back further, the food bin lives here. So, as you can see, it is a nightmare because we have such limited space. And as Bri said, we have a lot of stuff and we can only access half of the vehicle.
So like, instead of doing all that BS sometimes, I just like pick my battles, and I decide to keep my boots and shoes up here so my feet are super crammed. This is trash. We typically don't leave Ziplocs up here. I changed this morning and these are just up here still too. It's just a nightmare getting back there. So sometimes I just have clutter up here. All right, so say I wanted this bottom drawer down here. Gotta move this up. My laptop and like all that stuff. I guess really only move that one. I don't know, we have these attached with Velcro strips, so I like some shoes in there.
What a nightmare. That happened the other day. That's problem 3. Problem number 4, I'm gonna try to keep track for this, is the AC does not work. So all winter when we were saying we cannot wait for summer, we cannot wait for non-snow adventures, nice warm weather, blah, 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 our AC doesn't work. Our AC worked all winter, our heat worked all winter, our heat still does work, but the AC does not work.
We were driving from Vegas to LA and there's just this miserable highway in the middle of the desert, and our little thermometer thingy on the van's at 104. 104 with no AC. Do you have any idea how miserable that is? Also, like, I'm sure you can imagine how miserable it is driving with the windows down and going 80 miles an hour. Just hot air blowing in your face, your ears hurt. My hair is like getting wild.
Not to mention, this van is so loud. It's like every time you're driving at 50, so when you're going 80, it's just mayhem in here, and the windows make it that much louder.
Here, going like this the whole drive.
Yeah, the Yetis, we have this joke that, I mean, these cup holders suck, but yeah, these just freaking.
Every time we make a turn. either of us say, get the Yetis, because we had to be holding them.
So we're not entirely sure where, but there's a hole right here. And the other day it rained, and we've noticed this before, but last night it was a lot, and it was leaking. So this was leaking, this whole thing was wet. It was dripping onto the steering wheel, it was dripping down here, it was dripping down this. Thankfully, it's not enough to be of too much of a concern, but the van leaks, which is not dope. So problem number 7 on this bad boy is the battery. So we did a repair like 6 months ago, and the battery died like 4 times, and we were like, okay, we need a new battery. The guy was like, your battery's brand new, it's perfect, blah blah blah, you don't need it. And it was an actual other problem. On this trip, our van died 9 times in the first 2 weeks, and thankfully our buddy Hayden was with us. He jumped it every morning. It just became ritual at that point.
We nicknamed him Triple Hayden. Triple A, you know, jokes.
And you know, thankfully when we took it to the shop, it was just that we needed a new battery, so that was like $175 with install and all that stuff, but it adds up. You know, this van is so expensive. That battery was probably the 7,000 mark. Obviously a new battery, we needed it. We're not gonna fix the trunk, and any other problems, it's probably gonna call it for the van.
So yeah, like this is by no means luxurious, like at all. Of course we would love a bigger rig, but this is just the smart move at the moment. But when we do get a bigger one, we'll be so appreciative of it because we've dealt with this. So on to other things.
So that is just kind of a general van update on this guy. To be honest, Bri and I are just crossing our fingers that the van lasts until like September. It is May right now, and that is mostly because we just have a jam-packed summer.
Just a side note, this is not us just complaining and moaning and groaning. Like people all the time just think we're living this like crazy luxurious life and we get to see all these amazing places, which we do, but it comes with a price, so this is it.
Absolutely.
I love a big cozy bed and a nice kitchen to cook in and a hot shower every day, but you don't get that seeing the beautiful nature that we see every day. So
not to kind of what Bri said, make this video super negative and just complaining, but it's a reality and we want to show you guys all sides of what we do. So this is week 4 of this trip, and aside from all of these problems that have arisen, you know, the van dying 9 times, the trunk being not accessible, all these things that are super frustrating. It has been a very tough month in general, especially for me, I think. My 16-35 G Master lens, and if you are a photographer, you know that this is a $2,500 lens, which I've invested like $4,000 into, has been broken the entire trip. Nothing happened to it, it's just been broken. My Sony a7 III was on a tripod and the wind took the tripod, so my camera smashed. And then I also crashed a drone in this hike we were doing in central Utah, which is super annoying and frustrating. The wind just took it into a pocket, and I was flying it away from the rock and the wind just took it. It was in like a little wind tunnel. I haven't crashed a drone in years. I've done thousands of flights. So kind of all this happened and all this stuff with the van, and it just kind of has hit all at once. I don't know, $10,000 worth of stuff. So it's been a very tough month. Still kicking, and again trying to not make this a negative video, trying to turn it for a positive, but just kind of showing you guys like life and everything we do is not always perfect, it's not always beautiful, and like there's a very real reality to this stuff. And like, again, just don't believe what you see on social media every day.
When it rains, it pours. I mean, the van, the lenses, like for like, I mean, we are both landscape photographers, so we both use a wide angle a lot. So like we were sharing mine for a month now, and that just got super frustrating. You know, like you're trying to shoot a sunset or sunrise that lasts like, you know, 15-20 minutes max, and like we're trying to switch back and forth. So that was frustrating, but he got a new one now. Kind of, not the same one.
I got a downgraded lens.
Yeah.
It's still awesome. It's a 24-70 f4 Zeiss. It's not the 16-35 G Master. It's also just tough, you know, like Bri said, we're both photographers. Bri's taking photos for blogs. I'm trying to make videos for YouTube, trying to do all these different things, and we have 15 minutes of good light. So it's been very difficult. Thank you for letting me borrow all your stuff.
Yeah, I mean, this just like kind of puts a damper on the daily routine and like just stuff that otherwise would be like easy, like getting a new pair of underwear is like hard. So it could be worse. We could have worse problems in life, right? Like not complaining, but kind of complaining.
The next video we will take back to enjoyable, fun adventures out in the wild. So thank you if you're still watching, listening to us complain and groan, but this is the reality of our life. If you like this stuff, check us out on Instagram, like and subscribe to the YouTube, check out her blog, which is
breezydaysahead.com.
Anyways, thank you for watching. See you guys later.
Bye.